World leaders came together Thursday for back-to-back meetings of the G7, NATO, and the EU. Biden, president all three of them, decided to bolster humanitarian aid to Ukraine and extend sanctions against Ukraine. He also said that America would react if Russia used chemical weapons. Yeon-seung with the latest.
Western leaders came together in Brussels on Thursday to discuss the urgent humanitarian crisis in Ukraine. The G7, NATO, and the EU met back-to-back. U.S. President Joe Biden, also present in Brussels, met with other leaders and decided to boost aid to Ukraine while toughening sanctions against Russia.
First was to support Ukraine with military and humanitarian assistance. Second was to impose the most significant sanctions, economic sanction regime ever, in order to cripple Putin's economy and punish him for his actions.
Billions of dollars in humanitarian aid and military equipment are on their way. The U.S. will also accept 100,000 refugees from Ukraine. Biden also said that if Russia uses chemical warfare, the U.S. will not sit idly by to watch.
We would respond. We would respond if he uses it. The nature of the response would depend on the nature of the use.
The G7 has also warned Russia against the use of biological, chemical, or nuclear weapons in a joint statement. World leaders also came to other collective agreements that they must stand united for peace and to support Ukraine.
This morning's NATO summit allowed us to decide on several elements. First, there's unanimity on continuing to reinforce support for Ukraine to provide them with defensive arms and equipment that it needs.
The UN General Assembly also met to discuss the crisis. Almost three-quarters of the international body, 140 countries, voted to demand aid access and civilian protection in Ukraine while blaming Russia for the humanitarian crisis. The resolution was adopted Thursday, with 5 votes against, including Russia, Syria, and North Korea, and 38 votes abstained, including China. Meanwhile, humanitarian atrocities are being reported daily out of Ukraine. On Thursday, Ukraine accused Moscow of forcibly taking hundreds of thousands of civilians out of Ukraine and into Russia, sometimes using them as hostages. UNICEF also reports that more than half of Ukraine's children, estimated at around 4.3 million, have been driven out of their homes due to the war. Yeon-seung, Arirang News.